Just over 3 months ago, tornadoes ripped through Moore and other parts of central Oklahoma. 7 school children were among the dead. Since then, there has been an outcry from many citizens and communities to provide safe rooms or storm shelters at every school in the state. While many agree with that solution, funding such a large project is a major hurdle.
For those who did not experience the horrors of the May 20th tornado in Moore firsthand, the shock of what happened has faded. Not so for those who were in its path or who lost loved ones just over 3 months ago. 7 children, all under the age of 10, were killed at Plaza Towers Elementary School. One of them was 8-year-old Kyle Davis. Mickey Davis is his mother.
I have always thought kids were safer at school, but I'm here to assure you that they're not at this point. No parent should have to go through what 7 families have faced in the past few months. We need shelters in every Oklahoma school.
Davis was an invited speaker at this news conference where State Representative Joe Dorman made this announcement.
We're here today to announce the intention to do an initiative petition drive in the state of Oklahoma to pursue a $500 million bond issue to help fund storm shelters in our schools around the state.
Dorman says beginning September 18th, Oklahoma voters will start seeing petitions circulated at public venues asking them to vote for a constitutional amendment allowing the storm shelter bond issue.
Time is of essence on this because we don't want to go through another storm season and risk the schools being hit by tornadoes. There's been an argument that, well, we've had so few schools that have been hit by tornadoes in the past, so few students have been affected by this, but we've seen it happen once, and it's like an insurance policy. And you hope you never have to use it, but you're sure glad you have it when you need it.
Dorman, as well as many educators, say local school districts' hands are tied when it comes to raising money for a specific issue like storm shelters. Dr. Joe Ciano is the superintendent for Norman Public Schools.
With bonding the way it is in Oklahoma and the caps on bonding, it's going to be a challenge for any district like ours to set aside the significant amount of dollars that you would need to make safe storm-ready rooms across the whole district.
Ciano says preliminary estimates show it would take $40 million to provide safe rooms or storm shelters at all Norman schools. So the district, like many others across the state, are taking a piecemeal approach. Construction of Norman's Reagan Elementary School was completed in 2009. The school is designed in pods. 1 out of every 4 classrooms in a pod is able to withstand winds of 250 miles per hour. They are interior classrooms with no windows. The walls are double reinforced concrete, and each room has a reinforced concrete ceiling. At Norman's Truman Primary School, the cost of building a gymnasium was set at $1.3 million. The district added more money to the project so the gym could provide shelter for all children and school personnel in the event of a threatening storm.
The final cost was about $1.6. So it's about $280,000 difference between being a storm-ready facility as opposed to not. About $26 a square foot was the difference.
Dorman believes all school districts should have the ability to make their schools safe. Under his proposal, the $500 million bond money would be handled by the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management.
We'll have the local school districts will work with designers and architects to propose a plan for storm shelters or school safety upgrades. They will submit that plan with an estimate on the cost to OEM. OEM will work to help them get the details worked out where if they want to qualify for federal matching dollars as well, they could possibly go that route.
Representative Dorman's a dear friend, and I believe his heart is in the right place. I have doubts as to whether or not a statewide bond issue is necessarily the way to go. But I still am supportive of him doing what he thinks is right.
State Representative John Eccles helped create the nonprofit group Shelter Oklahoma Schools, which has been raising money to provide storm shelters at Oklahoma schools since the May 20th storms.
We've raised over $2 million so far in all private funds. We're breaking ground on our first storm shelter this Friday, and we have 6 in the works and more. We have 1 in Western Heights. It's going great.
Eccles admits it's a huge undertaking to privately pay for shelters, but he says he will push for giving schools more leeway to raise money for storm shelters on the floor of the House next session.
You're definitely going to see me push some proposals next year that deal with loosening up bond financing restrictions for local schools.
If that should pass, local school districts would then have to ask voters for approval.
Are you willing to tax yourself beyond what the bonding capacity is to provide this opportunity across the district? Because I think that's one key for all of us as administrators would be, it's great to be able to slowly implement, and you should, slowly implement these safe ready rooms, but my preference would be to say if it's important for one school, it's important for all schools. So how do we get there as quickly as we can?
Dorman believes the quickest way is to get his statewide bond proposal before the voters, and he believes that can be done before the next session.
If we get 500 signatures at each of the Friday night football games going on in state, we'll have this done in a weekend.
160,000 valid signatures are needed for Governor Mary Fallin to call a special election.